and you put in fix and flip as your filter.
Yes.
Okay. But the problem is that they're LLCs.
Yes. Go to open corporates.
Open corporates, and then you find the real name.
Sorry.
So that's where I find their name. Okay.
Yeah, go to open corporates. Not everyone, if they set it up like Prime tells us to, you're not going to get any information because everybody wants to be private. But Tammy, here's something else you can do. I'm going to make this post in the Facebook group and email you guys. People that have the beta tester thing, everybody wants it in Gator. Like there's like 100 people of like 10,000 people that have it. Go to Gator and be like, I got you. Go to the Gator people and be like, do you want to learn how to do this? Do you want to help? Do you want to go through as a customer? People that need money on first position loans, and just be like, hey, do you want to let me fund this, and you can eventually kind of get in on the thing that no one else can have right now. So I see that all the time. If you just like search for first position loans in Gator and start networking with, there's fix and flippers in there. Yeah. So that's another thing, is just let people know you guys are the top 1% in Gator right now that have access to this. So I'm going to make a post and be like, all Gators, go find these top 1% Gators and network with them. And then I'm going to email you guys and tell you guys to make a post and be like, this is kind of like, say this. And it will help you guys. And it will also help the people that want to get in on this program look at it and see it from a consumer point of view. So when they have it, and if everybody gets it, then they will also be educated. So you have a lot of people in Gator that it's not really like it's not too swampy in there because they want it and you have
Yeah,
it.
I've already done a couple of posts in Facebook and our community,
Good.
and I did it on Instagram, and I did it in a wholesaler group and a fix and flip Facebook group. So,
Perfect.
okay.
And I love that advice, Carly. Thank you. I have
Yes.
been trying to figure out how to better go about setting up the whole website and everything because I have integrator skills, but I am not an integrator. And so I could totally post, like you were saying, post and say, hey, I need somebody on my team that can do this side of things and split this with
Yes.
me. I love that. I needed that.
Yes. That's good. I'm glad that that's helpful. So, I always like to think of things, and I teach this in the thing, like think like an investor, begin with the end in mind. Like who is you? Pace uses the word avatar to identify us a lot, but what is your, and this is something I'm going to go over in the 5-day challenge, or the challenge that we do. So sneak peek is, who is your borrower? Who is your avatar? Where do they live? What markets do they invest in? What are their pain points? Where are they hanging out? So begin with like, okay, just like Tammy has done. Obviously, she's like, okay, find the fix and flip people, work backwards. So she's doing that, but really think, and then also think like, in this case, a Gator. Where is everyone? So this happened with I had the LOI blaster before Pace launched it to the public. I mean, anybody could that was in sub 2 if they bought it. But it just wasn't widely used. And as soon as he launched it to the public, I'm like, there goes, everybody's going to everyone's going there now. Like Pace, I was like, where is Pace going? I'm not going there because people will go to what Pace is talking about. And everybody goes there. So then I talked to Myron and I'm like, Myron, can you make a multifamily blaster? So he built me a multifamily blaster. I don't have it, sweetie. You're gonna have to talk to your dad. And he'll eventually release it to the public. I'm beta testing it. So now I'm blasting the multifamily. I don't have anything in here, sweetie. And so think that way. Like, where's your buyer, and where is every Gator going? So like only 100 of these Gators have this link. So one, it's not overused yet. So be thinking think like that. Like think outside of the box and be thinking, where are my people and where is everyone else going? And how can I pivot and not be like the masses? So yes, Spencer, do you have a question?
Yeah, so you have the LOI blaster for specifically tuned to multifamily. That just brainwave here. We're doing the prop AI stuff, and that's the majority of what I'm pulling is multifamily. Do you have it tuned into a certain size of multifamily?
Yes. We have
Okay.
buyers that Daniel and I just got off a call with that are buying 20 plus and 20
Okay.
below, depending on certain markets. Daniel
Okay.
has a big list of markets. So
Because my thought was I can tune my stuff into the same kind of parameters, and then what goes through Prop AI, I can kick over to you to also go
yes.
through the LOI and hit multiple levels of involvement.
Yes, I love that. Look at this. Yeah, that would be great. Because we have buyers. We've worked backwards, just like I was saying. We had a kid that I was helping with Blaster. We locked up 5 or 6 contracts and we had to cancel them. It was tough because I've never canceled a contract before, but because they weren't investor, my buyers are investors. I didn't have any homestead buyers vetted. And then you have to be really careful with homestead buyers. So I'm working backwards and I'm like networking with people like Daniel and Rinda and all these people that have multifamily buyers. And I'm like, who's got money? Who's buying? Let me go buy for you guys. So just you kind of like flip your paradigm or your mindset to not think like a consumer, like a lot of us are. And it's hard to train. So yes, great questions, you guys. Anything else I can help you guys with? Hey, Robin, welcome back. I didn't get to see Robin yesterday. She was off, so it's good to see your face. Did you call on Ryan's listings that I think I saw that you guys were communicating?
Called on the one that he had provided, and on the first time I called, there was fixing to be a showing and was threatened to be canceled, but it went through after all. He actually went through the open house and was able to see it. The agent's position was that the seller wanted to be able to see if he could get a traditional buyer first, but is totally aware of how things are working and also open to the idea of keeping her mind open for some other things, not only for us, but things that might suit Ryan's need. And since she met with him in person at the open house, they have rekindled their awareness of one another. You know, they were pretty sure they knew each other from the location where the seller and the agent had worked and where Ryan had frequented. So they just rekindled that awareness. And so I don't know what's happening since the open house. They wanted to wait a few days to find out what's going on. Maybe he's heard something. You're muted, Carly.
Sorry, school has not started for the youngest, and I did not want to subject everyone to a meltdown, a 3-nager meltdown. Thank you, Robin. I don't know if Ryan can unmute right now, but that's good to know.
I've been in touch with him, but not in these last couple of days. So he knows how to get a hold of me. So,
and if you guys, so this is another thing we're doing is I'm looking for homestead buyers and I'm trying to vet homestead buyers. This is what we're doing with Ryan. Ryan's like, oh, I'm looking for something. This is what I want. And we looked through and we vetted him and he was good to go. And now that we're actually hunting for an end buyer. So,
well, yeah, there he is unmuted. What do you have to say, Ryan?
Sorry, I was in and out of my car with my dog, but yeah, pretty much what you said. Not much to follow up with other than that. I did speak with her and she said it was a very pleasant conversation. She just doesn't really kind of disclose she wasn't familiar with creative aspect of it. So ideally, they would like to be conventional, but still open to having a conversation about it.
Yeah. And sometimes people just, this is what I always tell agents. I'm like, I don't want to be your first option. Like if you're on the market 8 days, like I want you to find a traditional buyer. You go find it. But if you are on the market 90 days and you're getting ants in your pants and the market has told you no, thank you, and you are ready to move, because what we don't want them to have is seller's remorse and be like, because it stays on their credit. So I always tell them, and it's a good way to build rapport and trust with the agents. I'm like, listen, this is Daniel can speak to this. I just got on a call with this agent and I'm like, I started off, I'm like, it's probably not for you because I did the pull away. Like people don't like to be sold and there's power in the pull away. We'll also talk about this on the challenge. People are so savvy to it now and salespeople, and they're like, be like, listen, we're just trying to solve some problems. If this turns into a problem, we're here. Use me as your Swiss Army knife. Please go try to do everyone else first. So this might be something where this is really good. Some people are like, oh, I don't reach out to anybody unless it's on market 90 days plus. It's good to reach out to these fresh ones and be like, hey, I got a buyer for this and I'm working. It's probably not going to work, but I just want to like float it past you. And if you guys are kind of thinking about dropping prices or you're trying to move it quick, let's talk. I have a lot of options. So I'm not going to be like, let's sub to it. I'm not going to go in for the jugular. I'll be like, we have so many different ways depending on how to structure deals so it benefits everyone. Just start the conversation just like Robin did. So it's
Yeah. Yeah,
One thing
neither of
that-
us were like pushy about it. We just said, if it comes to that, then the kind of offer is on the table, so to speak. But we didn't want to if it comes down to that, then if there's not like a problem to solve, we don't want to push it on anybody. If that makes sense.
exactly.
He also had the privilege of walking through the property and getting an idea of what looks like DIY kind of maintenance and stuff inside. So we had a discussion about, okay, now that you're aware of that, and we're not going to be asking for concessions because that's kind of the way we buy. The things that you see, are they tolerable? Because if they're not, then maybe this is not the house. So he's completely aware of what it is that's happening there. All of it seems to be acceptable, though he might have done something different or more professional. It's a threeplex, if I recall. So there's growth potential there. If they don't end up with a buyer, then we might be there.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, saying, and also be like, that's what you can say is like, we're not going to ask for concessions. I'll represent myself. We're not bringing 2 agents in here. That's going to cut into your thing. We represent you as an agent. But yeah, we'll pay for so it kind of like to sweeten the deal. I know it's not traditional. Sweeten the deal. We'll pay for the agent. We'll pay for the closing costs. We're not going to be like, can you fix the crack in that tile over there in the corner? We're not going to get nitty gritty or at all. We just want to have an inspection to see what we're getting into, which will be fair. So yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, that was a good point that you made. And I have to remind myself is what problem am I solving by providing this solution? Because it's not really a solution. It's just a sales pitch until it becomes an actual fix for somebody's problem. So if you're not actually fixing their problem, maybe it's just more of relationship building until they realize that the tools that you have actually are a solution for their problem. And it's probably not a problem until they're 90 to 120 days down the road.
That's so true. And Daniel,
Well
I'd
said,
love
yep.
for you to do calls. Daniel is so good at relationship building, and so many people skip the rapport and the relationship building, and people will be like, hi, I'm Carly. Will you sub to your house to me? And they're like, whoa. And it's very much like dating. Like some guy or gal walks up to you and is like, hi, do you want to get married tomorrow? And it's like, hold on, I don't even know you. Maybe we should have coffee. Maybe we should flirt. Maybe we should get to know each other. Maybe we should meet each other's families. So it's like, don't go in for the jugular and be like, let's get married right now. There's a church right there. Let's just do this. So like you have to build, this is a lot of trust when people are taking over credit and they have to realize you're not a scammer. Because when I first heard of it, I thought it sounded a little scammy.
You thought Pace himself was a scam, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Alex joined sub 2 without telling me. And I was like, oh God. Now here I am.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And also, when you talk to people that are in pre-foreclosure, to go with value. My husband had a client that was in pre-foreclosure. And so he sent me all this information about her and stuff. And I was in a panic because I'm like, I don't know pre-foreclosure. So I just went to Pace's thousands of YouTubes, found the one where he listed like 8 different options that somebody that's in pre-foreclosure could look at.
Closing the doors.
And then, and so then I just called her. She was super nice. And I said, I just was hoping that I could help you. Here are some, I don't know if you've thought about these other alternatives. And she was so grateful for that. Instead of just going in there, oh, you're a pre-foreclosure, let me take over, or, that kind of a thing. So it's just like Pace says, you lead with value, you work on the relationship first.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with that, we call that closing the doors, when Caroline's teaching us all that stuff. And the thing about it is that people sometimes, if they are able to, for those of you who, I don't know who's not in sub 2, but closing the doors, meaning show them an opportunity that you and I both know there is no way in Hades works for them. Have you considered a loan modification? Well, of course they can't do it. They've got everything all jacked up. But something is to be said when they actually verbalize and acknowledge that this isn't possible for them, and right on down the line, so that when you get to the bottom of the list and you're there as well, sometimes we can help. Then they know someplace to go. You haven't sold them. They've closed all those doors all by themselves, realized, recognized, and verbalized that none of those other options are possible. So, hey, maybe you're the last ditch effort that I need. And yeah, maybe we can talk about it.
Absolutely. And walk them down the road of pain. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah. Sorry. There is so much power in letting a person talk. Abraham Lincoln was known for having a friend come over, and he spent the whole afternoon going over what he was going to do about this problem that he was going to solve. His friend didn't say anything, nothing. And at the end of it, Abraham Lincoln thanked him and later sent him a thank you letter for helping him solve the problem.
Sounding board.
People need it, not just us.
So true. People just need that's such a good reminder. Just let people talk. You'll find out, one, you'll be like Abraham Lincoln and you'll talk yourself into a solution, or you'll also just let someone talk. You'll find out and take notes and be like, let's go back to this. And you will, when you shut your mouth, you find out so much. And sometimes people just want to talk and feel heard. And you just need to validate that and shut up and put them on mute. And, so you're not hearing anything in the background, and just let them listen. Let them be Abraham Lincoln. And they'll talk themselves into it.
Good points.
Yes. So these are good things. Tammy, you had that multifamily in Blackfoot. Have you found anything else on that?
No, in fact, I was going to check with my friend. He was hoping to meet with the owners on Friday. And so I need to check up with him and see how that went. I know that he posted in the group. I don't know if anybody responded that one of the tenants currently in place is like on like housing assistance,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't sure how that plays out when you're buying the property. Do you know?
You'll just take over, like sometimes it's Section 8, like there is some sort of agreement that's in play, whether it's the government or with a lease or something. So you can take that over. You just have to honor the agreement for as long as it is. So like, let's say they sell it, the end buyer's like, I'm not really trying to be in Section 8. I'm trying to, so what they'll have to do is just honor that lease till it goes through and just not renew it. But they still need to honor the lease that was promised.
Harley, on something like that, does the new buyer have to qualify for the Section 8
That's a good
stuff?
question. It's a very, I know with Section 8, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of
Right.
stuff to go through. I'll find that out. That's a really good question.
Well,
Okay.
and is it more property specific or more landlord specific? So if the property has been approved, does it matter?
Well,
if
I
the
think it's
owner's-
also based on how, I think there's levels.
Mm.
I think it's property, and then the landlord has to, with the government, you have to do forms and hoops and laws and rules.
There's also tax incentives for a certain
Yes.
number of years. Like if the property starts to be Section 8, it has to be Section 8 for so many years because you're going to
Yes.
get tax advantages for 15 or 25 years or whatever the term is.
So if Tammy, if you can get as much information as like, is that like the state is paying them, or if it's like an agreement, or find out
Okay.
as much information as you can from the owner about the tenant with the assistance, find out if all tenants are on assistance. And he knows that it's been under market rent. So with the assistance, they can't go over a certain.
Right. And Idaho doesn't have Section 8. We have something else. Do you know what it's called?
I don't, but they
Yeah, I'll
have
have
some.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
have to check that out and see what it is and what program she's on.
I
Do you
don't
know
know
what it
the
is, Spencer?
I'm trying to remember. Asked me a year ago, I would have been able to tell you, but I know that it's based, the values are based on fair market rent.
It looks like there's
So-
a housing choice voucher for the
Yeah.
Idaho Housing and
In
Finance.
certain areas, the Section 8 actually is slightly above market. It just kind of depends.
Mm-hmm. It's the IHFA, Idaho Housing and Finance Association. They must be a resident of Idaho, full-time U.S. citizen, criminal background is free of drug and sexual offenses, and you have a clean rental record and never been evicted from Section 8 housing. And then when you apply, they will also conduct a thorough review of adjusted gross income and family compensation.
And I'm just remembering a conversation that I had, and I could be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure when a sale happens on a property like that, that has a requirement of so many years to be Section 8, if the property transfers, the new owner, of course, has to honor those obligations for those years. And if they go away from Section 8, I think the original owner may actually end up owing back taxes from whatever benefits they received. I could be misstating that, but I remember a conversation like that.
Yeah. Now we're getting into the weeds.
Very much so.
So, yes. Great questions. What else? What else do you guys need help with? What are you guys doing? What's going on? How's life? How can I help you?
What's Chris and Graham and Lisa up to?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm at work, so I'm trying to have it on mute as much as I can, but been a Gator for 2 weeks.
Yay.
Phenomenal, just eye-opening fantastic stuff. So the first about month and a half, I was just trying to absorb as much as I can and try to get through the videos and just try to understand and how to communicate, and didn't want to sound like a jack. And then as I've kind of been growing and such, talking to people, I did the, hey, let's meet 30 people in 30 days. And it's really, I've learned more in the 2 weeks, just talking to people and, setting up a calendar and just really picking people's brains and trying to figure out how I can help and just be a part of the community. And it's been phenomenal. So I'm kind of an introvert. I like to listen. I like to take notes, and I like to do that thing. But definitely happy to be here. Definitely went from 15 shiny things down to 10, down to 5, down to 2 or 3. So
Good job.
yeah, we're figuring this thing out. So but yeah, I'm just blessed to be here and super excited to figure out kind of where I belong and how can I help. And I think sub 2 is definitely the next goal. And I definitely want to own, I got a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goal. And so yeah, I'm just figuring this thing out. Don't know. I'm in car sales and finance, and been doing that for 13 years. I sell RVs as well. So
Chris, we should talk. I think you
I was
messaged
gonna
me,
say,
didn't
Carly
you?
just found
Yeah.
a new friend.
yeah.
I don't, people reach out to me and I remember them, but I don't remember where. So where did I feel like you messaged me on Instagram, right?
I did. Yeah.
We
I
need
try
to
not
talk.
to blow people up. I
Blow me
don't
up.
want to be
I
that
need
annoying
it.
person. So
Well, and
Be
our local
annoying.
meetup is next
You
week.
you
So
have to stay in her bubble for like forever.
yeah, I don't know. I got 4
I get it.
children. I got a W-2. I'm
I remember
trying to
you.
learn that, I don't know. I guess I'm 40, so I'm at that point where I like to give people space. I like to,
I feel you.
that type of thing. So but yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit, not aggressive, but a little bit more comfortable, I guess, a good way to put it.
Good.
So yeah, I'm just gonna try to be around and try to talk more. And I do have value to bring. I just don't know exactly how yet. So
I got some ideas for you.
awesome. I love to cold call. I love to talk. I've been in sales most of my life, so I'm trying to be less transactional, less closey, less that type of thing, and really just meet people. And yeah, I met Keola yesterday
Oh,
and Cam the
good.
other day, and just John Latham and a bunch of people in the Gator family. So wanted to connect with sub 2 people, and definitely integrator people. I'm definitely more on the visionary side of things for sure. So anyway, happy to be here. And I'm getting more comfortable. So
This is hard when I feel like I get it. Like I'm kind of like you, where it's just like, I'm not going to push people. I'd rather be an introvert. I'm a fake extrovert. I'm genuinely an introvert. Like it's tough for me to come out. It was really hard for me to do even these things. So good job on getting the shiny objects down from 20 to 5, putting yourself out there. Thank you for coming and introducing yourself and just saying, hey. So it's a big deal to get as far as you have. I know it's always not the most exciting thing to do, especially when you're like more of an introvert. So.
Yeah. And more than anything, I hate wasting people's time and stuff like that. I like to talk, and I got ADD, so I'm like everywhere, all the time. So I'm just like, all right, shut up, Chris, get to the point. You know what I mean? Like, we can't be here for 3 hours talking about nothing. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I just put it on mute. You'll see me nod my head, and I'm definitely I'm trying to like not take notes and stuff like that. But yeah, I got introvert and extrovert tendencies.
I feel you. I
but
feel you.
it's the community, for sure.
Yes. Remind me where you are again. Where in Washington? Where'd you
I'm in
say?
Vancouver, Washington. That's where I live. I work in Chehalis, Washington,
That's right.
with the I-5 Auto Group. So I drive an hour and a half each way. Um, so I was on
Ugh.
SM. Yeah, it's terrible. So, but it's my W-2 for now, and my goal is to get into real estate, and I got to make money because I have 4 children, and things are
They
expensive.
want to eat.
They gotta eat. They're growing.
They're
So
hungry.
Hey, you
have
should get with
babies.
the explosive beaver or whatever that guy's name was. Do you know who I'm talking about, Carly?
No.
I remember that explosive.
At Squat Up Summit, that car
Yes.
salesman,
Oh
he was
gosh, that
Did
was
just
I meet him?
hilarious.
blew the doors off
Oh
of
yeah.
sub 2 in like 3 months, and then Pace asked him what his Instagram handle was. He's like explosive beaver.
Oh, yes. Now I remember.
But he came from your background and he's freaking crushing it.
But let me tell you this. I grew up in the car business. My family's in the car business. Like I know the car decently is what I'm saying. And it is amazing. My dad always growing up, my dad says life is one big car deal. And I'm like, what does that even mean? And it's so true. Everything, because especially you're in finance. So you're doing the back end stuff of it. I'm sure you've worked in sales. So you know the front end of it. Like you get
I
it.
know.
You did. I'm sure you did. Yeah. So you have a leg up on the real estate aspect because it's really just trading cars for houses.
Absolutely.
It is I'm 40 years old, maybe a little bit older than that. And it's finally clicking when my dad always told us growing up, life is just everything's just a big car deal. And it's
Me
so
too.
true.
A little bit older.
Yeah. It only took me 40 years to understand what he was saying. But you have a good foundation from being in the car business for as long. And there's also, I'll introduce you to some other guys that were in finance. And finance makes a lot of money. It does well. So, and they quit. So it's tough to leave. I have another friend that is like the best. She works in finance in Connecticut and she's having a hard time leaving because the money is so good. So it's like, that's the hardest part is
I make
making
just
that jump.
enough. Yeah, exactly. And that's I've been again very comfortable for 13 years, but
Yeah.
never really did anything great. And I've always wanted to do real estate, and I've trained. I got a team. We have 5 stores here, so I'm the team leader here of special finance, so people with challenge credit, rebuilding credit, that type of thing. And I just kind of put puzzles together all day long, and I but I just make okay money. I make enough to pay
Yeah.
taxes, put a little in the kitty, and still go back to work and work 60, 70 hours a week. So I want to get my time back, and that's really having my son this year. I have 3 daughters and had the baby boy 2 months ago, and was like, oh, what's Gator? What's Oh, wait a minute, whoa, I don't have time to do all that, but maybe you know what I mean? So it was hey, I'm going to pay this to do this. I didn't have the 10 grand to get in the sub 2, but
You'll
definitely
get it.
owning property is going to be definitely in that sooner than later. And so I'm going to connect with sub 2 students, and it's really just opened my eyes to teamwork and building. I have trust issues, I guess, a good way to put it. And so it's one of those things where I like getting uncomfortable. It's
Good.
been a big eye opener. So yeah, super happy.
We should talk. I have so many ideas. I think that you and I can work together because do they I-5 cars also do RVs?
Yeah. So we own Ford and RVs. We own Chevy, Toyota, Dodge, Volkswagen, and then the Ford and RV store. So yeah, I'm plugged into Ford and the RV side, and if I don't know it, I know the people that I know the general manager and stuff like that. So
Yes.
me, my sister.
Yes.
Carly's
I
new
love
best
it.
friend.
What?
Carly's new best friend.
I'm like, I have so many I can help. Like, I think we both could help each other. So
I think so. Absolutely. Yeah.
I
No,
think so too. Yeah.
I would definitely love to help and love to. I want to try to get kind of a smaller team, and kind of, I figured I talked to so many people and I was so disorganized. Now I got a spreadsheet, and now I'm kind of, becoming a professional with it, I guess, a good way to put it. So, but learning from people, and hey, what do you do and how do you do it and how do you do all this stuff and how do you keep it all together and stuff like that. So, get some people that are great at that stuff that you suck at, so.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, well, awesome. I'm glad you came and introduced yourself. And So I know who you are. I just have to put the people. I do this all the time, putting the people with together. Like I'm like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to
Good.
connect, and I'm definitely gonna talk to Tammy about the 2.0 for sure. I have some ideas, and um Daniel's definitely somebody that, because multifamily is the kind of longer goal, because I gotta, we'll get there. Slow steps, great big, big momentum for sure. Talked to Graham already. He's got a killer podcast as well. So Spencer, I've seen him around. Robin, just kind of learning you, and Ryan, love to meet you. So
Yeah, we had a good conversation, didn't we, Chris? Huh?
absolutely, yeah,
I enjoyed our conversation. Yeah, it's great to squad up and network, and yeah, certainly on multifamily. Yeah, absolutely. It's a game that any one of us can play. I know it seems daunting because they're big figures and talk about 7, 8, 9 figures, but I'm writing a couple of books right now. They're coming out soon. And reading those books, I think you'll find you can play the game no matter where you're at. You don't have to have anything in the bank or have any knowledge or skills. You gain all that, you're part of a big team. And so I'd encourage you to, when the book comes out, we can talk about it and read it and, get making some true wealth. So.
yeah. Is there anything we can help you with, Graham? Are you working on anything?
Yeah, as I say, I'm finishing these 2 books. I've relaunched my YouTube channel. I've got an educational thread on that, so working hard on that. And then networking every day. I've been giving a much greater focus on that. So anybody I haven't focused, I don't think I've talked to you, Dr. Tammy. So I'd love to talk to you, and you, Daniel. I've sent you a thing. I spoke to Spencer. Have we met, Ryan? I'm not sure if we've met. But yeah, and I sent you, Carly, an RV park, but I didn't receive any response. I'm not sure.
Where did you send it? Is it an
Um,
Instagram? Is it a messenger? Everything gets lost.
Yeah,
Unless
it
you
was a
send it
nice
to
one.
send it to buildinganempire.io, and there's a bunch of forms that you can submit it to. If you've sent me anything on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, it dies.
Oh,
Like I look at it and I'm like, oh, I need to come back. It's just like Chris. Like I'm like, I talked to Chris. I'm like, we should talk, and then we never circled around, and it wasn't on purpose. It was just like,
yeah.
so that's why it
I'll
needs to
figure
go
it
to
out again. It's probably gone now.
buildinganempire.io. But that's what this is for. This is for bringing deals. Let's talk about deals, how you guys need deal help. So, do you have it? Let's talk about it. Or you can just submit it.
It was a few weeks ago, so I'm gonna have to dig it out again. Maybe next time I come on the office hours. But it was a nice RV park. It had lots of pads, and it was 40 or 50 pads. So
Where is it?
I can't remember now. But I'll find the details for you again. I did send it to
Yeah.
your email somewhere. I did send it there. But
Email, it's got to go to my pipelines. Because then people like Daniel and Robin, and I have not only my eyes on it, but I have a whole team's eyes that will go through it, take a look at it, follow up with it.
Yeah.
So buildinganempire.io, it says do deals with me, and then you can pick all the things. I need to rename one of them. If you want to submit a deal to me, it's a bad name. I want to find a buyer for my real estate deal.
okay.
And you'll submit it to that one. I need to change that one. And yeah, submit it there. That will get a lot more traction. Anything on email, Instagram, Facebook. It's a well-meaning situation, but they do get lost. And that's why I created this pipeline.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll dig it out. It'll take me a while to dig it out because I'm not very organized when it comes to that, so.
Perfect. Yeah, send it on over. I'll definitely take a look at it. All right. Anything else? Any deal help I can help you guys with, or issue, like some things that you might want to overcome? All righty. We're gonna get this. Oh, Spencer, yes.
Something that I'm coming across a lot is effective scrubbing of list tactics.
Let's talk about it.
So some people say that you should scrub the do not calls. Some people really don't care. I know if I'm calling them personally, I don't care. I'm not looking to sell somebody. I'm looking to talk to them and build a relationship. So
Yeah.
you know, that's me personally. But things like scrubbing the do not call list off, going through and finding for some things, finding out who owns things corporately and who owns things which are corporate or private owned, stuff like that. I don't know, what kinds of things have you guys seen be effective with what kind of lead lists?
You know, what will you talk about? Does everybody know what scrubbing lists means? Does anybody scrubbing lists means like going through lists and like cleaning the list and like taking out like the do not call people before you reach out. But what are you, so in Spencer's like, I don't do that because I want to actually build a relationship. I'm not trying to telemarket to them and, you know, what I like to do is kind of, work backwards and pull lists that are like, just like Tammy was saying in the beginning, I'm looking for fix and flippers. So you think, who are these people? Do they, maybe they've used some sort of seller finance in the past. Maybe they are high days on market. Like, what's the goal in the end? And then kind of tailor, if you can think about it, like, who are these people, and think about who these people are and how you can tailor out for their stuff. So we pull a lot of high days on market, low equity, and high equity lists. Those are what we're focusing on right now. And I don't scrub anything either. And I think it also depends on like where you're pulling the lists from. I think they're all kind of sucky. Honestly, I think if you have a person go do true people search, you can get cleaner information.
Yeah, unless you're running like Vulcan 7 or something, the information is always slightly lacking and not always accurate.
Yes.
I found it, Colleen.
You
It's
did?
it's in Vernon, Texas. It's 71 pads.
Vernon, Texas. Where is Vernon? I wouldn't be a buyer for it, but I know people that would be. Let's see. So with is this an RV park?
Yes, yes. It's it looks like a good price. It's $200,000.
Is this West Texas? Where are we here? Texas is so gigantic. I have to zoom out 45 times to find out where it is. Okay. So it's like south of Oklahoma. So
10.7 acres.
and then what's how close is it to the highway?
Very close. It's right on the highway. It's right on 70 and 183.
Okay.
Right on it. Literally
I
on the
see.
highway. Yes.
So is it on 70 and 183 because they're parallel?
Yes. Yes. So it's closest to 183 and then yeah, it's South EXPY, whatever that is. South Expressway, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I like to do, you kind of, so it's close to Copper Break State Park, it looks like. So you want to look like close to a highway because people are just traveling and they just want to get off the freeway, obviously. And then close to national parks is really good, or where people are going. So Copper Break State Park looks pretty.
It's Vernon RV Park, it's called. Yeah.
And what kind of terms do they want?
Let's see. Starting bid is 200,000. Oh, it looks like it's an auction.
Oh, so they'll probably get a cash buyer.
And
So
its money is greater than 20,000 or 10% of the purchase price.
Um, yeah.
It must be an auction. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So auctions are tough because I'm not trying to buy cash. And if I am, I don't want to compete with other people. I want to mostly
Understood.
take over debt.
Yeah. Let's imagine though that it's not, and so we learn what you're looking for.
Oh gosh, how did I got stuck in some sort of, I can't find it. Oh, I got pop up going into this. I was trying to look this up. Can you guys hear that? Hold on. Are you guys there? Okay. So this is going to be probably not something just because it's an auction. I always tell my team disqualify fast. Like if they're not interested, I saw someone post on the free group a screenshot of a text, and this person's like, "Hey Johnny, not interested. Please, I'm not interested. Please stop harassing me." And then he responds, "Are you the owner of this property?" And they're like, "I said stop." And the guy posted and he's like, "What should I do now?" And everyone's like, if they say
Saw that.
stop, I think they told you what to do. Like, don't try to talk anyone into doing anything. If they say stop, then, and he didn't acknowledge that at all. He just said, "Are you the owner?" And so I think where a lot of people get hung up on is trying to make something, a round peg fit into a square hole. Like if they say stop, if they're like, "I'm not into it," be like, "I totally get it. Pull away. I get it. If you happen to be in the market to sell, or if anything changes, I'd love to talk with you. This is how I can help you. Da 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 da. But for now, I can respect that." So, and so many people try to make things happen. And also, another thing is, and we'll talk about this in the challenge, is think like an investor. Would an investor want this? Or is there a buyer? Because so many times you can work so hard to get a contract, under contract, you agree to sub 2, they're ready to go, you're ready to go, and then you have to find a buyer and you have no buyer. And so don't do that, because then everyone's like, "I got it under contract. It's done." It's not done until you find a buyer. That's like, there's 2 mountains that you have to climb.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I always tell people disqualify them quick. If they say this isn't it, then no. But for RV parks, look for something close to the highway, close to national parks. And destinations. Like, there's a few people in Idaho here. So McCall is one, so like people love to go to McCall from Southern Idaho, or maybe like Coeur d'Alene is one. It's like a destination, those places where people go for a vacation. And I know a lot of people are looking for those kind of parks for affordable living, and then they'll put like mobile homes on them or tiny homes or something. Island Park, that's right. Spencer, I've never been there, but I know a lot of people go to Island Park. So those are always good places, destination places. But well, perfect. Anything else I can help you with before we call it a day?
Well, Spencer will know this. We're trying to sell this house in Payette, find an end buyer for it. And it's a very unusual property because, okay, for one, it's in Payette. So big city of. Anyway, but it has 8 bedrooms, 7 baths, 3 kitchens,
Whoa.
3 offices, because it used to be an assisted living place. I don't know what happened with it. And then a family moved into it because it was like a his, hers, and ours kids type of thing. So they had 7 kids. So it was ideal for them. But he's got himself in a financial pickle and can't afford the payments anymore. But my wholesaler friend and I have been working on this for months because he's being ridiculous. He wanted $1.2 million because that's what Zillow said it was worth. And Payette. Yeah. And
how many people, what's the population of Payette?
I don't know, it's like
Like
15,000
5.
or 5.
It's
Yeah,
not
probably
a lot. I'm going there
not.
later this week.
Yeah. I mean, and so he was looking at Zillow, and and they're saying, well, Zillow says it's 1.2. And I said, yes, if you lived in Boise or Coeur d'Alene, but you live in Payette. And
You just keep on holding out for a buyer. The pain is what'll make him change his mind. But why can't
and
it
that's
still be
what's
assisted
happened.
living?
And that's what's happened, is that we knew eventually he wouldn't be able to make the payments on it. And so my friend, the wholesaler, he says, just let me cancel the contract because I'm done, you know. And my friend texted me yesterday and said, all right, now he's being reasonable. Now he's talking like 800,000 and wants 200,000 down and at 4%, a sub-2 deal, and then carry the equity on the back part of it at 4% also. So it came down from 1.2 to 800,000, but it's the only thing I could think of is, like Carly said, if we made it into a destination place where, I mean, you have to see where the location is. It's pretty nice, isn't it, Spencer? I mean, you've driven past it.
It's
The
all right.
house,
It backs up against the hill. It's close to the dump, the landfill. The landfill's like around the corner and around the other side of the hill from it, so it might occasionally get those kind of smells.
oh,
It's
that's good to know.
it's also very dry spot.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of potential. I've thought about looking in the area, putting some feelers out for like co-living opportunities, because I've run across a lot of working homeless people lately,
That's a thing.
and I've thought about just talking to them, finding out more about them, because I'm sure that they talk to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff gets around a little bit, and if I was to be able to put together enough of those people, that would be an opportunity for it, definitely.
Well, it's on 22 acres. And so the owner had thought about plotting to put RV pad out there, because there's also that motocross or
Yep.
motorcycle. Yeah.
Yep, just around the
That big
corner.
house. There's a house
So-
over Payette or Parma or something where it's like a $3 million house. It has is that where you're talking about? It looks like a motorcycle track and they can't sell it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That one?
Yes.
That
My
one's
cousin
close
knows
by, yeah.
him. Went to school with him. Is that that's the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
I
It's on
think it's a different
Highway
one.
52.
Yeah. I think Spencer's talking about something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, it's a nightmare.
I know it's tough. That's another thing is it's a good, I mean, those, it's like for you guys that don't know, it's like Oregon, Idaho border. These towns are like spread out and small. And so like how far is Ontario? Like Ontario's close to it, I think. How close is Ontario and Payette?
About 15 minutes,
Yeah. So Ontario's probably the biggest city around there.
definitely.
And then it's probably Caldwell.
Yep.
So it's tough. You have to find, I always say that's with the beginning and in mind. Who's living there? Is there a lot of people? Because when you live in those higher populations, the fact that it's on the outskirts of Ontario might be helpful, but in Caldwell, that's farther away from Caldwell, but the more higher population, the more bigger tenant pool you'll have. So you set yourself up for success.
Yeah. Because of its position in Idaho, it's gonna be susceptible to getting those people who want to take advantage of the drug freedoms and stuff like that in Oregon, but
Yeah.
want to live in Idaho, and that gets
Pay
really
taxes in
dicey.
Idaho and smoke weed in Oregon.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see it a lot. It's scary.
Yeah, people go
The-
to Oregon. Yeah. So it's right on the border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is because it's those people that don't know how to control their addictions.
True. So
So
then you also have to think about what's going on over there. Yeah. So, well, good guys. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you guys. Once we get the challenge started, we'll have more stuff to go over and go over certain deals and everything. But thanks for coming. Little announcement. I told Daniel this yesterday. If Robin's here, this will be news to Robin too. So you got a lot of you guys are on the school account, and I hate school. So I'm moving away from school. I'll give you guys all a link to where we're going, but it's gonna be it's tough for me to put things on there and communicate. So just a heads up. It'll be there. We'll be there, but we're gonna move away from it. You guys will all get an email, but just so you know. So anyways, thanks for coming, guys. And I hope you guys have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.